called me, and all I could hear was voices and chaos in the background. And she couldn't say anything.
15-year-old Bailey Holt never made it home from school.
It's just so hard to believe that somebody in a split second could take 2 lives and injure so many in just a short amount of time. And can't get it back.
Her mother describes the last time she heard from her daughter. She says Bailey called home Tuesday morning as she was dying on the floor.
And I tried to call her name over and over, and she never responded. So we rushed to the high school, and they wouldn't let us get through.
The chaos she heard over that phone was the sound of more than 100 teenagers running for their lives.
I took out my headphones and turned around, and everyone was just broken up. They were running. I saw the flashes from the gunshots, and by that time, I was just running.
Once again, there was no school here today because for the 3rd day in a row, Marshall County High is a crime scene. 2 students are dead and more than a dozen are wounded here, all victims of what is already America's 11th school shooting since the start of this year.
There's just no words to describe.
It was just before classes at this small-town high school in western Kentucky. And like every morning, students filled a common area, some eating breakfast and others chatting with friends. Police say that all of a sudden, a 15-year-old student with a handgun opened fire.
It keeps replaying in my head, hearing the pop, 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 sound like firecrackers.
If you can respond to Marshall County High School. Marshall County High School active shooter.
And we heard screaming, and all of a sudden you see people trampling over each other to get out the doors.
Kids started running, some with gunshot wounds.
I saw there was a lot of blood everywhere, and then people were getting shoved down. And so I just, I took off. I started running. I was just scared for my life.
By 7:59 a.m., just minutes later, police say students were on their cell phones calling for help.
I was close enough to I got blood all on my pants. It happened right next to me. I just knew to start running because the shots were just so loud.
The teens ran where they could, crying and screaming, into a dentist's office and a body shop next door.
It just was like bang, 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 and nobody knew what to do, and everybody's just yelling, get down, get down.
But high school senior Kennedy Spraggs says she knew she had to run.
I thought that if you get down, there's a chance that you'll never get back up. So I just took off. I ran as fast as I could. I don't know. It's by the strength of God, honestly, that I got out of that school.
Bryson Conkright found himself right next to the shooter. His right hand was grazed by a bullet. When he came in, did he say anything? Did you hear?
He was lifeless. He just pulled out the gun, didn't think twice, and just did it.
They're advising, as far as they know, it's one shooter. He is still on scene.
Outside the school, a photographer from local station WPSD had just dropped off his daughter and was sharing live video of students running from the gunfire.
I was talking to one of my buddies in the Commons, and he got shot in his chest. We ran out together, but I lost him. I don't know where he went.
The cavalry came quick, 8:06. This town is so small that one of the first responders thought that Bailey Holt, who died at the scene, was his own daughter.
One of our first troopers to arrive on the scene saw the young lady that died there on the scene and thought it was his daughter because she had been dropped off at the school this morning as well. Same clothing description, same description. And he had to go over to convince himself that that was not his daughter.
The most seriously hurt had to be airlifted to hospitals more than 100 miles away in Nashville. By the time they got there, a second student, 15-year-old Preston Cope, was pronounced dead.
He's an incredible kid. Every time you saw him, he was smiling. He was walking down the hallway. He never had anything negative to say.
Cope's teammates at school say they're hurting bad.
And the locker room's going to be different, but we're coming together. We'll be okay.
This isn't just the 11th American school shooting since January 1st. It's also the 50th this academic school year.
I think we've become desensitized to these school shootings. They happen far more often, and as a result, I think people just aren't as horrified.
Kentucky has been here before.
School prayer service there ended in tragedy today.
Just 30 miles from here in West Paducah, 3 students were killed and 5 were wounded 20 years ago at Heath High School in one of the first major school shootings to shock the country. Over the years, a steady stream of gunfire in cities now known by just their first name.
School shooting.
Shooting in a school.
Another
charter school shooting.
From Columbine to Blacksburg, Marysville, Washington, Roseburg, Oregon, and Rancho Tehama Reserve, California.
It used to be if there was any school shooting, it was the lead story for days, and people would be obsessed. How did this happen?
I'm here at the scene of tomorrow's shooting, where a 15-year-old will kill 4 children, 2 adults, and then turn the gun on himself.
The violence has become so common that a group of parents who lived through the tragedy at Sandy Hook Elementary went and released this video last year, underlining how they believe Americans have come to accept these shootings in our schools.
So how will you explain the shooting to your daughter?
Actually, I won't get to explain it to her because she won't make it.
Back in Benton, police tonight tell us they've arrested the alleged shooter, a 15-year-old student who surrendered at the scene. Prosecutors aren't yet ready to confirm if this is him, seen led away in handcuffs after the shooting. But they do tell us that state law requires that he be tried as an adult.
When you're talking about murder and you're talking about a defendant who's over the age of 14, it's not going to be that hard to get the case moved from juvenile to adult court.
Some students who know the 15-year-old in police custody believe he was bullied at school. The Holts say they are praying for her alleged killer.
I don't know if I could go to court to see him. I just don't know if I can. But I want him to pay for everything he's done. But I also want to pray for him all too. Because I know he's probably having a hard time too. But
he still took our baby.
He still took my baby from me.
The Holts say they're speaking out to keep the memory of their daughter alive. They join an awful club, parents who lost so much, calling for an end to the violence.
Whatever that kid had going through his mind, I don't know, but if he needed a friend, I know she would have been a friend to him. Yes. Talk to him about anything that he needed, because that's just the kind of person she was.
For Nightline, I'm Steve Osatsami in Benton, Kentucky.
Hi everyone, George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.